Even if we have a lot of typography and text in a publication, most publications are going to have some kind of visual media, such as illustrations or photographs. In this video, I want to show you how to place and adjust images in Adobe InDesign. So go ahead and open up a new file in InDesign. You can just go to File, New, Document, and as long as it's more than a few pages, that's fine. I have a 20-page document here, but if yours is just 4 pages, that's fine. We want to just navigate down here to the spread that has pages 2 and 3, so we have some room to work with. And I set mine to letter size. As long as you have some space to work with in Adobe InDesign, it should be fine. Let's say we're working on an editorial layout that's either a photo gallery or maybe a feature story article that has a lot of photos that go with it, and we need to add those photos. Well, let's just go ahead and go to File and then Place. And from the support files, we can select any photo. Now these are high resolution images, and I will show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and select one. And notice I don't have Replace Selected Item checked. I'm going to show what that is used for later, but for now, none of these need to be checked as far as show import options. So let's just double click this or click it and click open, either way. And if I just click and let go, this is a huge photo, right? So I pressed Control and minus on the PC or Command minus on the Mac, and we can zoom out quickly. And the photo goes across this entire area, so multiple spreads. So what we want to do instead is just click and drag when we place it. So I can press Edit Undo or Control or Command Z, and I'm going to zoom back in with Control or Command plus. And so I know this is a large file, so I don't have to worry about it being pixelated if I make it larger than this page. So I'm just going to click and drag. And notice it maintains that same width to height ratio, those proportions. And I'm going to let go of that. And now we have a placed image. Now I know this image is larger than these 2 pages. So let's just say I wanted to make it go across the entire spread. Well, you might think you just click and drag the corner, right? But that's actually not what we do in InDesign. So I press Control or Command Z to undo that. That is just the edge of the image frame. So if I click and drag the edge of it, it crops out part of the photo. And likewise, if I click and drag the side or the top, it just adds some more space inside that image frame without making the photo larger in the layout. So I'm going to press Control or Command Z twice to undo those 2 steps. And so what we need to do to resize images once we have placed them into InDesign is to hold Control on the PC or Command on the Mac. So if I do that, I'm going to click and drag this up to the top left-hand corner first, and just hold Control or Command and then Shift, and then click and drag. Now if I don't hold Shift, I can distort it. See, it distorted it vertically or horizontally. We want to make sure to hold Shift while we're holding Control or Command on the Mac, and then it makes it larger. So I press Control or Command minus and plus and zoom in and out. And if it does not look very good as far as the focus, or if it looks a little bit pixelated, it might be set up to have low quality depending on how InDesign is set up. So if you right click anywhere and go to Display Performance, make sure that says High Quality Display. If it has Fast, it's not even going to render it. We can see it in the Pages panel, but it's not going to show up. So if I set it to Typical, it saves a little bit of processor memory, but if your computer's fast enough, then it's not a big deal to set that to High Quality Display. Now either way, when we go to File Print or File Export to PDF or Print to Paper, it will look fine in the end result, even if it's just a preview or a lower quality display right here when we're working in InDesign due to processor speed. And we can also go to View and then Display Performance, and High Quality Display is set it there. Or on Mac, you click on Adobe InDesign in the top left-hand corner and go to Preferences. On PC, we go to Edit, then Preferences, one of the few differences between Mac and PC, besides keyboard shortcuts as far as Control and Command and Alt and Option. But we go to General just to give us this entire menu. And then we can click on Display Performance right here. And then make sure that is set to high quality. That's just set in the preferences there. So we can see that raster images, like pixel-based images like photographs, JPEG, PNG, these are high resolution. Vector graphics such as Adobe Illustrator files that are points and paths, or EPS files, those are also high resolution. And then also, how is transparency displayed? And we will cover transparency with different types of file formats in another video, but that is set to high quality as well. Now I'm going to click and drag to navigate to the next spread here. Or again, we can press spacebar and click and drag if we have this selection tool selected, or some of the other tools. That's a quick shortcut. Let's say you took a photo and placed it into the layout and you just click and let go and it's only this large. So let's just say it's the size of this rectangle right here. If you make that larger than the original dimensions as far as width and height, then it's going to pixelate. You know, if you made it that large after it initially would be placed at that size, if you just click and let go, it will pixelate. We can make photos smaller. If I click and hold the edge here with Control or Command Shift, so we can make photos smaller, and InDesign or Photoshop for that matter does a pretty good job at resampling and figuring that out as far as making images smaller. However, when we make photos larger than the original dimensions, it can pixelate because Photoshop or InDesign has to figure out what to put in between those pixels as we make the photo larger. So that's something to consider. Also, a quick tip: when you place images, don't delete the image from your hard drive or wherever it's located, and don't move it or rename it either, because it could lead to a missing link error, and then the quality of this will be more like a preview, and when you print it to PDF or paper, or we export it to PDF or other file formats, it will not be high quality in terms of the images, because InDesign is not saving all the information about these placed images in the file itself. In InDesign, we place images and then InDesign will refer to those on the hard drive or wherever they're located, instead of making that file information part of the InDesign file itself, which would make a really large InDesign file. So make sure to not delete or move or even rename images once we place them in. And we do cover in another video how to fix that if that does happen, as far as relinking image files in an InDesign document. Now I have this shape right here that I drew. Now if you want to draw a similar shape, just click and hold on the rectangle tool on the tools panel, and we can draw a polygon, an ellipse, or a rectangle, and if we hold shift it'll be a perfect circle or a perfect square. So draw one out like so, and I'm just going to show you. If we go to File, Place, and then select one of these images and have replace selected items selected, or don't even have that selected and click open but hover over this shape when we place it in, it will embed it in that image frame. It converts that shape to an image frame basically. And so now one thing to take into consideration when I move around these images, notice that I click and drag with the black arrow, the selection tool, and I'm not clicking right in the middle. So this top left, lower right, lower left, top right, or on the edges around here, not completely on the edge because that will just adjust the image frame like so, but somewhere around here, anywhere but the center or the edges, we can click and move these photos around. If I click and drag the center, it moves that image inside that image frame. And notice that we have the rest of it cropped out because this image frame is not as large as the original image. So I'm going to show you in another video how to fit these images to the frame or vice versa. For example, if I click up here, fill frame proportionately or fit content proportionally, it will actually go ahead and bring that entire image down to fit within this image frame, and notice that it has that original color that we set. So I could click and drag the edge of the image frame if we want, but more on that in the other video. But for now, notice that I move this around by clicking and dragging around here. If I hover over the middle, it moves that image inside the frame instead of it moving the image itself around. Now if I use the white arrow, this direct selection tool, regardless of where I hover over the image, it will move that image within the frame. It's not moving it around in the layout. So if we want to move this photo around in our layout, say we're going to add a title here and body copy of an article, we want an image to be over here on the right hand side, then we need to use this selection tool and click and drag the photo around. And if we hover over the middle, it will move it within that frame. And again, if we click and drag the edge, we are going to either adjust the frame or hold Control or Command plus Shift, and we can resize it like so. So if I want to preview what that'll look like, I can click and hold on the bottom of the Tools panel and go to Preview, and we'll see that we could add an article right here and have a large photo on the right. So I'm going to set that back to normal. There are some quick adjustments we can make to these photos after we have placed them in. I have shown you how we can resize them, crop, and move them around on the artboard and move them inside of the image frames as well. However, we can also quickly rotate it. So if I hover off the corner here with the selection tool, it turns into that double-sided arrow. If I click and drag, I can rotate it. If I hold Shift, it will toggle to specific angles like 45 degrees and 90 degrees and so on. I'm going to press Control or Command Z to undo that. And up at the top, I can also adjust, for example, see where this says 100%. If I set that to 200%, it doubles the size as far as that image. And if we do that, make sure this Constrain Proportions for Scaling is clicked. If it's not, and I do that, it will distort it like so. So if this chain link is toggled, Constrain Proportions for Scaling, it will maintain that height to width ratio. It will maintain the proportion so it doesn't distort it vertically or horizontally. And over here, if I set the width to a specific measurement, for example, if it's 51 picas by 38 picas, and I change this to say 60 picas and press Enter, it will only adjust this image frame. Notice how it made this image frame larger without making it wider, so it made it just taller. That's because I don't have Constrain Proportions checked right there. But that's just going to adjust the size of this image frame. If you needed something very specific, whether it's inches or picas or other units of measurement that we can set in the preferences, we could do that there. And besides manually rotating with the selection tool, we can also rotate it up here. And if we don't see any of this, go to Window and then make sure you have Control panel checked. But we can click this to rotate it 9 degrees clockwise, click that to rotate it 9 degrees counterclockwise, and so on. And you can also make a mirror image really quickly, flip horizontal like so, and you can also flip it vertically pretty quickly. So those are some shortcuts on the control panel up there. In the top left hand corner, the reference point, what that means is if you click the middle of this 3x3 grid and you change the width or height, for example, if I click up, it's going to increase from the middle. If I click the top left hand corner, it will increase from the top left hand corner, so it'll go out that way and that way. Or top right hand corner, and I make this larger. Notice that it's expanding out from the top right hand corner. So regardless of whether we are adjusting the image frame here or the image size, and regardless of whether we have the constrained proportions selected or not, it's going to be affected by the reference point. But again, we can resize just by clicking and dragging the corner, holding Control or Command, and also Shift to maintain the proportions. And a quick tip, if we have an image frame like this and it's not on the edge of the photo, and we want to just quickly fit this frame to the edge of the photo without having to guess or zoom in and try to make it snap right to the edge there, we can just right click and then go to Fitting, and then fit frame to content, and it will align the image frame with the edge of the content, in this case, this photo. Now, besides using the selection tool to click and drag the corners or the edges, the top and bottom, we can also use the white arrow, the direct selection tool, and click a point, such as a corner, and we can click and drag, and that will move that one point. And we can also click and drag the paths in between, and that has a different effect than just clicking and dragging the corner and resizing it as a typical shape like a rectangle or a square, for example. And I can also even add an anchor point. If I click and hold onto the pen tool, go to the add anchor point tool and add one right on this path here, and then use the white direct selection tool, and notice that we have this added anchor point here, and we can use that for a custom shape. Now, what if we want to add multiple photos to a layout? Let's just go to File, Place, and let's either hold Control on the PC or Command on the Mac and click a few to hand select them, or we could click and drag around a group, or we can hold Shift and click one and click another in succession, and it will select everything in that row. Either way, but let's just go ahead and go to Open, and this has 8 images that I selected. We can see by that preview number there. And if I press the left and right arrows on the keyboard, it cycles through those. So if I want to click and drag one first, it'll show the preview. And then I want to go and, let's say, add this one, like so. I'm going to line them up, apply alignment. And let's say we want to add this one here, using those smart guides as far as lining everything up. Pretty good. That's kind of snapping to that margin there though, but you get the idea. So for the last 4 here, what if I wanted to place them all at once? Well, what we can do is hold Control on the PC or Command on the Mac and Shift. It turns into that 2x3 grid, and now when I click and drag, it will place the remaining ones in a grid here. And if that had 2 more, it would have placed it here and here. So that's a quick way to place images quickly, either one at a time or in a grid after we select multiple images to place. And we can group these. If we click and drag around these 4, go to Object, Group, and if I click and drag one to move it around with the selection tool, it will move all of those together. And if I click and drag the corner, it will not resize those, right? But if I hold Control and Shift or Command Shift on the Mac, click and drag at the corner, it will resize those all at once. And of course, we can ungroup them with Object Ungroup. So those are the fundamentals of placing and adjusting images in InDesign.
Hey there, would you like to learn valuable skills in editorial design using the popular industry standard publication layout program InDesign? These are just a few of my university students' magazines created in a class I've been teaching for about 8 years called Magazine Design and Production. After graduating, some of my students have become full-time graphic designers, layout editors, and creative specialists at various magazines and other media companies. In this course, you get hours of concise instruction where no time is wasted. You first learn the software, and then you apply editorial design principles and use InDesign to create a magazine, a brochure, and more. You can use the knowledge and skills you gain from this course to create your company's annual report. You could work toward becoming an editorial designer, or you could create your own ebook to sell through Amazon. You could also produce your own magazine to share online through third-party sites, or sell them through services like Apple's online store. You could also design posters, flyers, advertisements, or other promotional materials as a freelancer. My name's Chad Newman, and I've worked as managing editor at 2 graphic design magazines. I've also worked as advertising layout specialist and webmaster at a regional newspaper and as internet development director at an award-winning advertising design firm, and I'm a full-time university professor. I have a bachelor's in communication, a master's in journalism and media studies, and a PhD in communication. In this course, I'll show you how to quickly and easily learn and master InDesign. So enroll now and let's get started learning by doing in InDesign.